Among the airlines looking at ways to stay in the sky is Virgin Atlantic. Richard Branson says it may have to merge with another carrier if the tie-up between British Airways and American Airlines goes ahead. So to get the latest, we can now speak to the airline CEO, Stephen Ridgway. He joins us live now from Berlin. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So we were just hearing there about the collapse of air traffic in the wake of the global recession. Just how strong is the recovery in the airline industry that we're now seeing, and are you confident that the recovery will indeed stay in place?
Well, I think the last 2 years were unprecedented for the industry, and I don't think any of us have been through what happened during that period. But I think the changes that took place, the capacity reductions to try and bring the market back into some kind of balance, have worked. We started to see load factors recover last autumn, but now I think the whole industry, including Virgin Atlantic, faces this battle to get the fares back up because they fell so much, so that we can return to profitability.
Now, there's been a great deal of consolidation in the airline industry over the past 2 years. Of course, the current example being BA's tie-up with Iberia. Is Virgin going to play any part in that consolidation?
Well, I think we've known for a long time that the industry needed to change. There needed to be consolidation. Who knows, we may well be part of that one day. But I think what we're always looking at is to make sure that any mergers or any consolidation that takes place is in the interest of consumers, and it isn't just companies trying to take advantage of the troubles to become too big and too dominant. So it's not an issue about consolidation, it's the type of consolidation.
So what type of consolidation might you be looking for?
Well, we're a small company still. We would be looking potentially just to grow ourselves, to become part of a bigger group potentially, to provide more competition and to provide more choice for consumers. So I think it's about that. It's not about trying to become over-dominant and affect the interests of consumers.
So with that in mind, what would your preferences be?
Well, I think we just need to look at what happens in the industry over the next 18 months. We're seeing some big changes take place in the US with carriers getting together, and we will watch that. We are in a very significant position in the UK, in the London market. We are the #2 carrier out of London, so we aim to retain that position and to grow in strength.
Now that BA and American Airlines tie up to operate a joint venture across the North Atlantic has been all but approved by both US and European regulators, have you given up any efforts to try to block it?
Well, the final decisions have not been made, both in Washington and in Brussels. We've been fighting this for a long time now, and we think it's just a consolidation too far in terms of the very entrenched position that they will have on the North Atlantic. Heathrow is full. It's very difficult to create more competition there, and it's wrong for those two airlines to come together in that way when they're already so dominant and it's difficult to compete with.
So what then is Virgin going to do to strategically counter this threat if the joint venture does finally become a reality?
Well, I think we've got a number of plans. We've got new aircraft coming. We will, where we can, provide additional competition, but it's tough. As I say, Heathrow is very congested already. We have a very strong brand. We've come through the recession extremely well. We haven't had the industrial problems that's currently facing British Airways. So I think right now our franchise is very strong, and we aim to go on growing that.
How difficult do you think it'll be, though, to survive as a competitor on North Atlantic routes to New York?
Well, I think travellers and companies will need Virgin Atlantic even more now to provide that competition against an airline group that's becoming even more powerful. And we are very popular. Travellers like flying with us. We look after our passengers very well. We provide a very different kind of product and service. And I think if ever was a time for companies to make sure that they've got that choice, it's now.
Given that Singapore Airlines, which owns a 49% Virgin Atlantic stake, may want to sell that, does that open up the possibility of an agreement with another carrier, perhaps making it even more likely for you?
It may do. I think Singapore Airlines clearly is concentrating with the big changes that have taken place in the last 10 years, particularly in the Indian market and China. I think its strategy is different. But let's see, they're a very strong airline. They're a great shareholder of Virgin Atlantic. I don't think they're in any hurry to do that, but we need to see what developments might take place. But at the end of the day, it's down to them. But it could be an opportunity, yes.